Today is February 16th, 2024. I'm David Berlind, and this is the Blockchain Journal podcast. I'm coming to you from Suffolk University, where the Boston Blockchain Association is running one of its events. Suffolk University is in the heart of Boston, and sitting with me is Christopher Concheri. He is with Concheri Consulting. Christopher, thanks very much for joining me here on the Blockchain Journal podcast.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so in one of the sessions that was taking place in the meeting room back there, you spoke up, you were sitting in the audience, and you said, I think we got a problem here, guys, and that is blockchain. Well, look, I'm not going to put words in your mouth. Why don't you tell me what you thought the problem was?
Well, I just feel like there's a big, sort of parallel paths that are happening where technology is on one path and cryptocurrency is on another. But there's almost this sort of false connection between the two. And sure, crypto started and blockchain was used for crypto. But the use cases for blockchain are much, much broader than just crypto. And the false sort of connection to the currency, I think, really prohibits its adoption at its highest level, at its sort of peak level you can imagine. There's a lot of perhaps opportunities to use that technology, but if folks are really thinking of blockchain as more of a crypto technology, they may just never really fully appreciate the opportunity there.
Well, sure, if you're a chief executive of some company or a CIO and you're reading the headlines, all the headlines about blockchain are really about crypto, and they're not very positive, and things are, at a complete logjam down in Washington, D.C. in terms of getting any laws passed or regulations. So, yeah, of course, blockchain must suck. It's all about crypto, right?
I mean, that's, I think, unfortunately, the perspective of a lot of folks. Of course, my experience, and I had spent some years over at, companies like IBM, and the use of blockchain, isn't in the crypto space per se. When we're supporting financial services institutions, they're thinking of using blockchain to support transactions, perhaps, sure, but not crypto transactions. So I think the actual use of the technology is far broader than a lot of people perceive it to be. And I think once the perception changes, I'd see there being a lot greater adoption of the technology.
Yeah, maybe things will take off. The train will leave the station, is so to say. Well, you obviously know a thing or two about the different applications other than crypto. So, what are some of your favorites?
There's obviously, situations where you've got to control the owners of particular positions, and there's some trading happening, if you will, that's outside of the pure crypto trade. I think each company, has opportunities to sort of think about and using that technology for different use cases. But clearly, it seems to be well suited for that transactional play, if you will. I'm currently working on supporting a crypto trading platform for lenders. Where you've got crypto traders. Obviously, they're going to be, the cryptocurrency is going to be on the blockchain. There's now going to be a lending platform, to support some of those traders. And
so, is a lending platform using blockchain as sort of more of a record-keeping infrastructure about what's happening, less about the actual crypto that's being traded?
So in this case, it's actually more about the adoption of the cryptocurrency and less about the adoption of the blockchain, to be fair. One of the paths I see, in new business is related to crypto. And so that's, I guess, blossoming.
What are the non-crypto applications? I mean, you're obviously in there and you're saying, hey, look, we have to kind of, we have to separate the two, because right now, you hear this cliche, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right now they're throwing, the bathwater out, and that's crypto. I mean, it's getting trashed everywhere in the headlines. Yep. But the baby is actually the blockchain. It's the platform that's underneath. So what is it about blockchain what can it do for other applications besides crypto? I
mean, the security is huge. Being able to sort of trace the fractional positions and such. I think things like transfer agency is a really good place to sort of bring blockchain to the fore.
You're talking about like tokenization. You mentioned fractionalization, transfer of agency. We're talking about maybe tokenization of real-world assets. So you kind of take something like a skyscraper, and you tokenize the thing, and then you fractionalize it in a way that multiple people can. Not only the owner of that building can easily raise money against that asset, so they get some liquidity out of that building, but then you also can reach a whole new market of investors because you fractionalize the token, and now grandma can walk up with $20 and buy a little chunk of that building. There was just no way to do that before. So that is that what you're talking about when you talk about fractionalization and the ability to transfer value between two parties?
That's one example of it, and I think others. I'm just thinking of sort of the typical sort of transfer agency business that exists for mutual funds, and in some cases, principally mutual funds is what I was considering. But the ability to keep track of the owners and where these trades are going, and to sort of support that. I think that the challenge with some of the bigger ideas is the existing infrastructure that you have. And so the use of blockchain that I've seen is, tends to be this more sort of, company-specific need, where they're needing to sort of keep track of, the owners of positions, where they're needing to keep track of, ad security. But it's not necessarily blowing up the entire infrastructure and systems as well. So I see that's an opportunity for a lot of fintech players as well, where you don't have established, systems and processes in place.
Okay, so you're here at a blockchain event in Boston. You've got a business called Concheri Consulting. Yep. What is it that you do?
So we support risk management, banks mostly. And I was referring to earlier a deal we just recently signed to support a lending institution, a lending platform, and it's an institutional platform to support institutional traders of lending of crypto technology, but borrowers to support the borrower and the lender in that platform, and we're going to be helping them create credit profiles of those investment funds that hold that crypto position. And we're going to, do a credit assessment of sorts, and cover off on the different sort of risk parameters of that fund. And the idea here is, in my earlier point, this is really another. This is another example of crypto, not blockchain so much, but the crypto space really taking a step forward in evolving. This is just all very new material, right? All new space. There's a lot of excitement, and I do think, going back to my earlier point, crypto will continue to work its way, and there's going to be a lot of passion about that. But I do think that once people appreciate the technology behind it, that blockchain technology, people will start to think of other use cases, and not simply just sort of gravitate to the traditional technology solutions.
Sure. All right. Well, Christopher Concheri, the founder, I guess, of Concheri Consulting, doing some risk management work with blockchain. Thank you very much for joining us on the Blockchain Journal podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we've been speaking, as you might imagine, with Christopher Concheri, and he's got a lot to say about the differences between crypto and blockchain and how they can be separated. He had asked an important question in there that I don't know got totally answered when it was asked, but if you want to find out the answer to that question, we do try to answer it on Blockchain Journal. Come to blockchainjournal.com. We have a lot of editorial content there. We have a lot of videos like the one we just recorded here, and you can find the full text transcript of them there. You can also find us on YouTube, and if you just want to listen to the audio of all these interviews, you can subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Google's podcasts, Google's YouTube Music, Pandora, etc. We're on all of different podcasting services. We just want to meet you where you are. So thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you at the next video.